Knopf High, friends! Darth Momo here with Double O Studio, and we're back. We hope we didn't scare you off the last time because last time we talked about 8 videos across 2014 and 2015. This time we're going to talk about 2016, which encompasses 43 videos.
All
Um,
right. That's
But
crazy.
we're gonna try to tone it down. Obviously, we don't need to do a 5 minute intro like last time. And I think we kind of both mutually agree that on some of these, we're just kind of go, yeah, not much to say. I say this, yeah, I say that. Okay, so we'll put that in this tier. Yeah, I agree, and then move on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
2016. So I plugged all these in Movie Maker just to get an estimate, and it came out to about 3 hours and 40 minutes of runtime, which I spread over 3 days. You did that all in one go. How was that?
Yeah, I had the day off and I'm like, you know what? The next coming days, I had an anniversary, so the next coming days I'm like, I'm not gonna be watching this on my anniversary with my girlfriend. So I'm literally just gonna bust it all out in one day. And yeah, that was awful.
And now that I
Uh
think about it too, because it doesn't work on your Xbox, so you had to watch them all on your PlayStation in your little bed, huh? You couldn't at least like be out in the main room on the couch.
no, yeah, I
Oh, that
couldn't.
was even worse. I did mine on the couch, so I was at least able to walk around.
No, I had to like sit on the bed with no like nothing to lean on. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So we won't just for crunch time too. We'll get right into it. We'll start with the very first 2016 video, which is Galaxy War 3, series which was unfortunately cut short. There's of course narrated scripts that were done later on, but this is the last finished Galaxy War. So Cole, what did you think of this one? As my Galaxy War new audience member.
Well, first off, I didn't even
Oh wait,
realize that
sorry. Before you begin, this is currently available on Jaw Movies.
if you're gonna put it on the screen anyway, why do you have to say that?
Why not?
All right. So, so first off, I didn't even know that you didn't finish these. That's interesting. I forgot that. Um, but anyway, Galaxy War 3. So you're probably gonna be disappointed with this review,
Probably not.
but but honestly, this was my least favorite one.
Oh, okay. Maybe I am a little disappointed.
Yeah, it was my least favorite one because I was expecting something really interesting with the villain, and it just. Can I spoil things on here? Is that
Yeah,
fine?
if they haven't seen it, that's their problem.
Okay. Yeah, I was really mad that the main villain was just the dude's brother. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what is this? Despicable Me 3?" Like that trope has been used over and over again. Oh, he has a long lost brother that no one knew about. Like, oh, I was like, I actually gave you some props because these films are like obviously bad, right? Like
Uh-huh.
you made them 10 years ago, so I give you some props in the story at least. So I was excited with that cliffhanger, but no, just to find out it was just some random brother, I was a little disappointed with that. I thought you were gonna do something really crazy, like what if what if it was Master Momo? That's his name, right? Master
Palmer.
Palmer. What if it was Master Palmer, but he was playing both sides? Like that would be really interesting, and like he didn't die. Like I thought it was gonna be that. I was like, oh, that would have been really unique, really cool. But to find out it was just a brother, I was a little disappointed. And also like just the whole thing was just so bad. Like the scene where they're just in the the little rocks just talking back and forth. It was just so
Yeah.
it was cringy. And then the ending scene where they're like all fighting, yeah, that was bad. I gave it a 2 out of 10. Unfortunately, I enjoyed the second one a lot more, and personally I think the second one is the best. But yeah, I gave it a 2 out of 10. I was not excited to share that with you because I figured you probably like three the most.
So I actually gave this one a 3.5, and I do want to say I think this came out before Despicable Me 3. So I'm
It,
gonna wear that one on my shoulder. Overall, I thought it had the weaker crawl of the three. I like the idea and the like. kind of like the first half of the video more than the second half. So like I like the idea of like the blood streak bounty hunter, how we're still carrying that thread on. But I also like too that like Kyle like doesn't want to kill him and then he does, but then because like he gives him a chance to leave, right? And the guy's like, okay, yeah, nope, and he tries to kill him. So Kyle, of course, lops his head off, and then he's like, dang, I feel bad. You know, he said he had a family and he buries him. Like I like that.
Yeah.
And I also like that Kyle's like kind of like done with the story. And then Master Palmer's Force Ghost is like, no, 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 get back in there. And I like Palmer's or like Lord Palmer. I like his introduction. And I like that like at least the story treats him as a different type of villain. Like he's not just like, oh, I'm the evil empress. Like he's got a little bit more nuance to it. So like I like that aspect. But then once we get to like Trinipla, yeah, it just feels like A New Hope pretty much shoved in like 10 minutes, and that where
Well,
to me it
it,
falls down a little bit.
and also clearly you had some inspiration from a certain sequel film because it was really cringy. Clearly, I could tell that you just watched Seven, and you were like, "Oh, we gotta have this random girl that has no parents,"
Well,
and
yes and no. So yes, Force Awakens it just came out, but Galaxy War 4, um, or Galaxy War 1 was at the end of 2014, and we talk about at the very end, we talk about Trinipla, and then we allude to her in the third one, or in the second one, which was in 2015 in like October. So that was set up, but that was more so taking the inspiration of like A New Hope. And then obviously we had the plot twist of like that was the villain, so that's why her parents were dead, or it's because that's her father. So if anything, I see what you're saying, but that was more so taking from the originals as opposed to Force Awakens.
well, I also just
But
didn't
we
know where
did
the
use sequel music, so I'll
yeah,
grant you that.
I also just didn't like this random girl wasn't set up in the other two. At least maybe I like missed it, but like she just popped into this one. I'm like, who is this chick? You know? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
To
that,
me,
yeah, it was very much like very vaguely alluded to. So at the first one, the focus was Palmer and Kyle. So she was mentioned at the very end. But we didn't know what we were doing with the story. We didn't even know we were gonna make another one. So that's why she just like kind of pops in at the end. And then in the second one, we didn't know who a Trinipla was. We didn't have another female, so we took the story in the second one the way we did. And then the third one, it was like, all right, now we need to like stop like just talking about her. We need to bring her in. Um, the other thing too is yeah, the fight scenes were kind of weak. I didn't like the original trilogy parallels. I would have liked if I had danced around it a little bit more than I did.
yeah.
I do like how the Force Ghost came out for what we had. I did like how that Force Ghost came out.
Yeah, the only thing about that Force Ghost scene is that there's some random dude in the background just like
Yeah, even Emily, she was like, she was watching it as I was watching. She's like, "Who's that guy back there?" I'm like, "Yeah."
So
Um,
overall, I mean, I give you
Yeah,
credit for
I
the
this is one of those that like I wish we had the resources and we could take that story, polish it, and remake it. Not
yeah,
not now maybe, but like a couple years back. That would have been cool to do.
I agree with you on the whole Kyle in the better thing, but thing else, yeah, I would say F tier.
Yeah, F tier. Um,
All
but
right.
yeah, the next one we're gonna talk about, short and sweet, Breakfast Brawl, streaming on Nuclear Films and Jaw Movies.
um, do you want me to go first again since
Go
it's
ahead.
your okay?
So if it's like one I did, I'll let you go first, and then if it was one you did, I'll take the lead on it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I give this one a whopping 1 out of 10. Yeah, this was
Okay.
bad. No, I'm sorry. Again, I hate, ranking these so low, but to me, like, I have to be honest. Um, the only thing I gave props for was the story. But everything else was just so cringy. Like it was just so hard to watch. It was the production was not very good. It was like a Galaxy War, but very extremely cringe. Like you know what I mean? Like at least with Galaxy War, you watch and you're like, okay. I mean, these are just a bunch of kids. Breakfast Ball was just like hard to watch. Like the only thing was the story for me. I don't know why I gave it a 1. I think I just really didn't like it because I watched these a few days ago, so I'm trying
Right.
to
And you
remember.
watched them all back to back, which I'm sure probably played a little bit of part in it too.
Yeah, but Yeah, I just really did not like that one. And it was like really short too. I don't know. I maybe one is a little too harsh, but I just remember thinking that okay, that was really bad.
So I gave it a 4 out of 10, and this was actually one of the first videos that Yak and Robin and I put together. This actually we came up with initially on the day we shot the first Momo, and we did this first, but as we talked about in the last video, it took a while to come out. We reshot it a couple times. Gave it a 4 out of 10. I agree with you. I like the concept. Um, as a basic like sketch, but the Nerf guns just kill it. They do. They really do. If we had
Yeah.
like pistols, I would have liked it a lot more. But yeah, the Nerf guns just kill it for me.
Now I think I remember now. Yeah, yeah, like you just like cut and they're just like there. Like
Which
that
that
was
was supposed to be part of the comedy of it. At least that's what we were going for.
oh yeah, yeah. See, like it didn't come across to me. It came across serious, so it was just cringe. I'm like, what
Yeah.
are you guys doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And maybe that
Yeah,
was why we rolled with the Nerf guns, but I don't know. I think in hindsight, the Nerf guns just kill it for me, especially in light of every other video we've used where the Nerf guns go away except for Momo videos. So yeah.
yeah. I
F tier.
honest, yeah, F tier, but because we're both, you're low and I'm low, so F tier.
The next one is The Adventures of Darth Momo #3, available on Jaw Movies and Darth Momo. Take it away.
Okay. Again, very low. I feel so bad, but yeah. Um, to me, I watched it and I'm like, okay, that was literally just Darth Momo 2, but worse. Like, I gave it a one. What did I give it a one? Yeah, I gave it a one. Unfortunately, because like, look, I would give it higher, but it's literally just Darth Momo 2. Like, you guys just fight real quick, and then the same thing happens. Like, it was just like, what's the point? Like, at least make it different. And with two, it's like at least with two, like you're somewhere different, and it's a little bit, it's like paced better, and it's just like the shots are better. But this one was just literally one stagnant shot in the front of your house, the same concept as number two, and the same thing happens. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I didn't like that one at all. Um, so yeah, I gave it
I
all.
gave it a 4 out of 10. I thought the fight looked okay. And I thought a couple of the dialogue lines were kind of cool. Um, But yeah, overall, I agree. It's nothing special. I'm trying to look at my notes here. Yeah, I literally put I like some of the dialogue, but nothing special about it. It's just kind of there, and like you said, nothing stands out. It's literally, and that's what I kind of started to realize about these momos too. Is a lot of them kind of are very similar. Which I
Yeah,
mean, I think that was the point of the show, but obviously for some people that's not going to work. And rewatching them all back to back, I could see how that can get very tiresome very quickly. Whereas
yeah,
making one every like 4 months over the course of a couple of years, it wasn't something that necessarily dawned on us.
yeah.
So I gave it a 4 out of 10, but yeah, obviously F tier.
There you go.
The next one is another Jaw Movies hit, available on Jaw Movies, called La Lluvia.
Um, oh shoot, where is that? Give
That
me a
was
second.
the Spanish one with me as like the weather reporter.
Okay, so unfortunately, I didn't know. So you just told me before we started shooting this, I didn't know that there was an English version.
Yeah, I
So,
probably should have told you about that.
and honestly, I didn't ask because I just figured like this is the film. Like I just figured you didn't have an English version. So I gave it like a I gave it a three because I had no idea what they were saying. Like I didn't know what was going on at all. But it seems like you guys put some effort into it. I like that you put the shower over it, like the hose. I mean,
Oh, that
um,
actually looked really well upon just like rewatching it. That hose.
yeah. I all I said was I don't speak Spanish, so. But obviously, I think you guys put in some work. I like that Kyle also learned some Spanish, and I like that you learned some Spanish. I wish I knew what you guys said, but unfortunately, yeah, that's
So
all I
there's
put for
one
that.
more in 2017, a Spanish short, and they both have subtitles. So you'll have to watch the English subtitle one for this one. We'll briefly revisit in the 2017, just out of curiosity.
Okay,
But
okay.
I actually gave this a 2 out of 10. Put super basic. I like how the rain came out. And that's pretty much it was very basic story of just I'm a weather reporter. It was a video for class. Weather reporter. I interview a kid. The rain destroyed his little picture. But you could tell like I'm giving him some of the lines in the middle of the video. I use my lightsaber as like my microphone. So yeah, I gave it a
Yeah,
2 out of 10.
yeah.
Nothing special about it.
F tier once again.
Our next video we're gonna talk about is The Adventures of Darth Momo #4. This was the one with Nick Rabu, and this is actually the last one that Nuclear Films really had their hand in story wise. The next one is really where I start to take control of the series.
Okay. Um, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it. This is available
Um,
on Darth Momo and Jaw Movies.
so I feel really bad about saying this, but this was my least favorite one. It that was just that. Yeah, that was like really cringy. Like when you just like change character too. Like you start like breaking the fourth wall, like throwing jokes out there, and it was just so bad. I don't know. I just cringed so hard watching it. What did I put? Um,
So remember how I
I,
told you that like Nick and I kind of were often at odds about the direction of the series and what the series was trying to be. I was more
yeah,
like it's a consistent story. Nick was like they're one-off random little videos.
yeah.
So we leaned into that one hard on this one, and we took a more comedic approach, which I actually thought made it more rewatchable. But I understand, like in hindsight, yeah, not as rewatchable. I still like got a kick out of it, but anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, no, you're good. I also said that like I was it was kind of confusing. Like you die, but then you come back to life. Like you do it once, it's like okay, but then you do it again, and it's just like what? Like I didn't like the story choice either. Yeah, this one's also a 1 out of 10 for me, unfortunately. But yeah, there's better Darth Momo's out there. I'm not trying to hate on Darth, but I'm not trying to hate on it. I just genuinely did not like.
That's fair. Um, I gave it a 5 out of 10 just because I like
Wow.
the comedic approach. I thought it made it more rewatchable as opposed to just like, oh, yep, there's a Momo's Apprentice. Yep, he comes in, they fight. Okay, he's dead. That's it. Um, and actually, like it's funny the whole death scene thing that actually comes into play in the next one because like I died and then like I was going to edit it and I'm like, oh wait, like I'm supposed to like be laying dead in the next one. I'm like, crap. I'll just reverse that footage real quick. So, but then like and it also causes problems too, because like you said, breaking the fourth wall. I'm like, let's do a fight like a prequel, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. But then like, okay, well, this is supposed to be in the same universe as the prequel, so like, how's that work?
Yeah, and I don't know. To me, it wasn't funny. It was just like extremely cringy. Like, oh, let's do a fight like the prequels. Like, no, no, stop.
But obviously, yeah, F tier.
Yeah.
The next one is The Adventures of Darth Momo #5, currently available on Darth Momo and Jaw Movies. Take it away.
This one I gave a little bit higher. I did 2.5 out of 10. I know that's not a lot, but I mean, after everything I've reviewed, this one's pretty high. Um, I give this one. What is it? Number five we're talking about.
Yeah,
I like that there's like a goal now. Like at least with this one, he has like something he has to go do. But the other ones, it was just like, oh, fights, 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 and then
yeah.
now in this one, it's like, oh, he has a motive now. Like, okay, I'm excited to see where he goes with this. And I also put like it was a little bit more easier to watch. Um, but obviously it was still really low because they're really they're just not done well, unfortunately. They're just so hard to watch. But this one I did give a little bit more props to. I think you did. I think you're improving.
Well, I'm interested to see where you think of the rest of the momos as we keep talking because this is where they start to become more story driven and more linear and coherent. And so I'm interested to see because as someone who like I don't know, to me a lot of them seem kind of boring, but I'm interested to see what you think of some of the future ones now that yeah, you're right, some of those classic story elements start to come into play here. I gave it a 5 out of 10 actually on the same level as #4. I thought it was a lot more rewatchable than I originally thought. Um, And there was a couple dumb things, but I thought some of the performances actually were decent in here. I thought I actually did a decent performance as Momo, as opposed to the others that just show up and say a line and then fight. I actually thought I had a decent performance, and I thought Yak did okay as Master Yaki. A couple dumb things. I thought the fight more or less came out okay, except for all the jump cuts, but I gave it a 5 out of 10.
All right. Is that would still be F tier though,
Yeah, that's still
right?
F
Yeah.
tier. So next one, I know we said we're trying to speed this along, but we got to take a moment to talk a little bit because the next one is where we all came together. Literally everyone. I'm in it. Chris is in it. Hunter's in it. You're in it. Nick Johnson's in it. Like this was your video that you took on and put together, but you pull all our pieces. Nick edited. Nick had locations. Chris and I were in it as actors, and then obviously I did a little tinkering with a special edition later on. But this was the original. This was where it really started to. This was where it started for you. This is where it started to take off for Yak and I. Um, this one is available on actually a lot of channels. This one's still available on Darth Momo. It's available on Jaw Movies, and it's available on Nuclear Films. I think it's on TheWebShark, and it's on Digital Reality. Um,
Oh, it is. I didn't know that.
yeah, this one
Oh.
is just this one. Um, this one I gave it I think a 7 out of 10.
Oh
Um,
wow.
Probably just for nostalgia, but I actually think so. I think there's a lot of more nitpickier things. But not really any major problem. Um, you can clearly tell we're starting to get into our element here. Like I think the music was too loud and the camera work was a little shoddy. Um, the random swap from the neighborhood to the church at the end fight was a little like, brat. Um, but I thought the fights still kind of hold up. Um, I thought the story's fine, and I can't pull nostalgia out of this one. Most of them I do, but I think this one's hard to pull nostalgia out of.
Okay, that's crazy that you said that because I have the exact same ranking. I also gave it a 7 out of 10 and I was so mad at myself. I'm like this is not a 7 out of 10, but it is a 7 out of 10. It has to be a 7 out of
Yeah,
10 because this is Batman 1. Like this is everything started from this one and it's like I can't put it in D tier. I just feel bad for putting it in D tier. So I agree with you. I think it's like my notes are iconic, easy to watch, um, but bad production. So basically everything you said, like you know, yeah,
I think
iconic.
like talking about nostalgia, I think there's a level of credence there because maybe as like a newcomer coming in, like this might be a little like, okay, that's not really that good of a video. But for someone who maybe like was watching our channels from the beginning or like watched our channels over the years, I think nostalgia is an important play in here. I mean, you could almost call it like, to circle back, you could call it similar to the prequels, like someone who grew up with the prequels. Yeah, nostalgia is absolutely in play there when they're looking back at it. And I think that like even audience members who were with us back then and are still with us, nostalgia is probably a play at it.
Yeah, and you know what's funny too is when I dropped my Shanny Bird trailer, I remember someone from high school messaged me and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like I've watched you since your very first video and you've improved so much." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like this
That's
is
awesome.
crazy." Like I don't know. Batman One is just a special place in my heart. Obviously, it's got horrible like lighting. It's got bad, like you said, the ending where it just switches to the church. Like it's got a lot of issues. Like
But at the
there,
same time, too, it's also very rewatchable, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does. That's what I put. I put rewatchable.
So
Um,
our
yeah,
first one in C tier then, huh?
yeah. C tier. I'm so happy. I've been waiting to put something above F and D, so we're
Yeah.
finally got one in C tier.
So yeah, I mean I have a lot of love for it. And that's like if you look at like our Batmans and the special editions that I edited. Like this one, the only thing I tried to really do was besides uniformitize the credits, I tried to see if I could fix the coloring. I couldn't. Otherwise,
Yeah,
like, I mean, granted, I didn't have the footage. Maybe I would have done a little bit more with it, but more or less, like, this wasn't one that really needed to be messed with as much as the others.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, our next one we're going to talk about is Star Wars: A Fool's Gambit A smuggler story. This one This one's got a lot of importance though, because like while we were working on Batman 1 with you, and this came out after Batman 1, and this is available on Darth Momo, Jaw Movies, and Nuclear Films. This one was like the first big like video Nick Yak and I were working on, and we're working on it simultaneously. So this one, as much as it may not be that great, it's got a lot of importance in that regard. But go ahead, take it away.
Um, you're probably gonna be mad, but I gave it like a 4. I just I think I think the second one is so much better, and I'm not saying because I'm in it. Like
No,
I
I
just
would
think that
agree with that.
I just think the second one, or I mean, this one um has a lot of problems. You know what? I don't think that's fair. You guys did have CGI, and you guys. I'll give it a little bit higher. I'll give it a 5, but I don't know. I can't do anything more than that. I think it's good for the time, but it's really cringy and it has a lot of bad production. But
Yeah.
I'll give it credit for where credit's due. Um, yeah, that's my ranking. I really don't have much more to say about it. I think it's fine. I don't think it's amazing. I just think it's kind of cringy, and for the time, like I'll give it props for.
I actually gave it a 6 out of 10, so we'll have to talk about that in a
Oh,
second. But
okay.
I gave it a 6 out of 10. Let's see, what are my notes on here? I thought the CGI was okay. It's not that great, but I guess
Yeah,
the idea that we had it, and it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I
yeah.
remember it being. Um, Nick's acting was bad. Yax was okay, but like I literally have a note on here, and I remember telling them this years ago. Like it felt like they were playing themselves. Um,
Yeah.
I will
Well,
say
you
I
were.
actually had a oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you were the best actor for
I was just
sure.
gonna say
Like,
I don't remember thinking that highly of my performance, but upon rewatch, yeah, it's fine. It's not that bad. The crawl was awful, and the
yeah.
editing's kind of choppy. Um, yeah, the one thing I do love though is I love that I made a special edition, and I also made a super special edition. And in the super special edition, I cropped it to theatrical aspect ratio. And I
Oh, nice.
love that. And I don't know if you
Okay.
noticed that on your DVD or not.
No, I didn't notice that, but I mean that's a great detail.
So,
And by the way, like I'm fine with it being in D tier. Like as soon as we started talking about it, I started to think about it a little bit more, and I kind of agree with you. I don't think it deserves a below a 5. With that being said, like I don't mind if we can compromise and put it in D.
okay.
Um, but
And
yeah, I
that's
mean,
more so along the lines of production as opposed to story or acting, I want to say. I think the
yeah,
story's pretty basic. Acting isn't overall that great, but production, at least compared to a lot of the other high school videos too.
that's why I kind of just changed my mind just now. I was like, you know what, production wise, you got to give it some credit. You got to, yeah, I agree with that.
So our next one we're going to talk about is Campers, currently available on Nuclear Films and Digital Reality. Um, I guess since you were in this one, I'll take it
Yeah, go ahead.
first.
Go ahead.
um, I gave this one a 5 out of 10,
Whoa,
but
really?
I'm interested to see what you think, and I'm open to compromise. I think it kind of just exists. The costumes are decent. The editing's kind of meh though. The premise doesn't really strike me as very interesting, and it kind of feels very amateurish. Whereas Batman One like was more so nostalgic. This just feels amateurish, if that makes sense. But go ahead,
Okay,
take it away. I'd like to see what you think, and maybe I'm willing to
so
change my perspective.
well, first of all, do you know why it's called campers?
Because Nick sits out there and kind of camps. I know originally you guys were wanting to make a Call of Duty film.
Well, okay, so back in the day, I was kind of an idiot back then. I didn't know why he was calling it campers, because I know like that's what you do in Call of Duty. That you call someone a camper if they just sit there and shoot at you. Um, I just wanted to make it Call of Duty, but nowadays I realized, oh, that makes so much more sense calling it campers because that's like the joke. So I
I
have a
would
lot more.
agree. I would agree.
So first of all, I mean you don't play video games, so I'm just telling you this because you probably ranked it so low because you don't understand like kind of like what that represents.
Hmm.
Basically, and I deal with this still in the newest Call of Duty. People camp all day long. Like you'll be playing in some match and there's a kid all the way down the map with a sniper camping and you can't do anything because he'll just shoot you and then it's like, well, how am I going to get over to him because he's just going to get me. Like we call those in the Call of Duty community campers. So when I was rewatching it, I'm like, oh my god, this is hilarious. And it actually is shot relatively well. Like it's pretty watchable. It's pretty funny. There's good editing. Um, you're gonna be surprised. I gave it a 7. I gave it a 7 because I thought for what it's going for, it's really good in regards to like, oh, this is a play on camping in Call of Duty. Like I think that's really funny. And then at the end when you got another camper and he shoots the other camper, and then it just cuts to Nick playing on the game. He's like, ah, god dang it! Like that was really good story, right? That was really good writing right there, and I thought that was like really cool because the whole thing was in a video game.
Interrupting me.
Um,
You're making the pitch. Would you be okay compromising in D tier?
Um, I mean, yeah, I guess we can. I think it genuinely is one of those better films. Like, I would personally stick it like only in C tier, but if you want to compromise, we can. I would go ahead and put it in D tier. It does
I
not belong
think
in
for
F tier.
this one, just because I have a feeling we might have some more compromises down the road, I'll say you made a convincing argument. I'm willing to compromise and um, give you C tier. But personally speaking, I wouldn't. I think I'll change to a 6 out of 10, but I wouldn't go higher than that. But I'm willing to compromise and put it in C tier.
Okay, okay. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of compromises later down the list. But yeah, I genuinely give Nick a lot of props for this film. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm glad we compromised.
Um. So like I said, I mean, I made the case for you with Fool's Gambit, and I mean, I think the compromise is kind of fun on it too. We don't necessarily have to
Yeah,
change our personal opinions, but um.
yeah.
So anyway, the next one we're gonna talk about is, oh geez, The Adventures of Darth Momo #6, currently available on Jaw Movies and Darth Momo. Take it away.
Oh boy. Um, this one was just wild. I was just so confused and I was cringed out. Like I'm like, what are you doing? Are you fighting like a what are you fighting?
A
And
vacuum.
and then you just put the camera in your face. And you're just like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, this was not good.
I actually you're gonna laugh though. I actually gave it a 2 instead of a 1 because I genuinely think this one's more interesting than 4 because at least with this one like there's like some story going on and with 4 it was just so cringy and so fourth wall breaking and just kind of bland. This one at least like you did something different and I like some of the backstory and honestly it was kind of funny to watch you fight a vacuum cleaner. So I gave it a 2. But yeah.
Actually gave it a 2 as well. Yeah, production wise, especially with camera, this was bad. But one thing that I find so interesting is because this is the one that sets up really the rest of the Momo series. Because I mean, I feel like it's not really we could talk about it since we're gonna get to it later in the video, but like Dava Kum is like the overarching villain for the rest of the Momo videos, and he's introduced as a vacuum cleaner in this video. And also the plot point of like me once being a Jedi, like that's really like the first hint of like true story in these videos so far, production wise, release order. And it's like you just drop that in there, and like that is such a crucial point too to the rest of the videos. And they're just dropped in this like vision of me fighting a vacuum cleaner, and it's I think wild is the best word, like in retrospect.
Yeah. I was blown away. I totally forgot because I remember we watched all these on your roof that one day, and I totally forgot about you fighting a vacuum cleaner. And I was like, no way.
And this was really something I wanted to make a video for Star Wars Day, so I cobbled this together real quick. I hated it too because it was like we teased the bounty hunter at the end of the last one, and I'm like, well, I have to delay the bounty hunter, so I tease that again at the end. But I'm like, well, we'll take it this direction. But I'll just ask because Twilight of the Apprentice and Rebels, where Kanan gets blinded, that had just come out a little while ago. Can you tell that just came out?
Yeah, I
But
see a
obviously,
pattern with
yeah,
you.
F tier.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh no. Not this thing.
let me
All
swallow
right.
my water first. Tales from the Machine of the Past, available on Jaw Movies. Literally, when I saw this was next on the list, I started going, no, 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 no! I don't even remember if you finished this or not, but take it away.
um honestly, I'm not gonna lie with you. I really enjoy the premise. I think the premise is really sick. I didn't watch it entirely, but if I was gonna rank it, I'll give it um I'll give it a two. I'll give it a two. Because I would give it higher if it was actually like not random toys. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I feel like this is one of those things where it's like you mastered the story, but it's just a bunch of random toys, and I can barely hear the dialogue. The production's really bad. So honestly, yeah, I'll give it a two for being unique and interesting, but everything else, no.
So I would encourage you then on that regard to finish it whenever you have time because one thing I know we're going to do is we're going to rank the franchises at the end. So we'll revisit this obviously being part of Galaxy War. Which that gets clarified in the second half of the video. I gave it a 2.5 out of 10. It was actually more rewatchable than I thought it was going to be. I agree though, audio is not that great. Um, but I really like the premise, the idea of just like campfire stories, essentially, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just these kids that find this old like robot, and he's like, chock full of history. And this right here is actually the Rudolph and Quack pitch, more or less. The flashbacks. That's the Rudolph and Quack pitch for you. So
Rudolph and Quack.
um, yeah, that's really it. The other thing I like too is I like the whole illusion trick at the beginning where I'm pulling the cord and it's trying to make like the robot moving. I actually kind of like that small little snippet too.
Yeah, I could see what you're going for. It was really funny. But yeah, I could see what you were going for with that shot. So I give you props for that too.
So 2.5 out of 10. Um, yeah.
F.
Our next video is
Oh God.
Batman 2: Attack of Hush. The original version on Nuclear Films and the special edition is on Jaw Movies.
All right, well, you take it away.
So that's right. I froze for a second. I forgot I'm supposed to talk about this one. Gave this
Yeah.
a 5 out of 10.
What? A five? Okay, I gotta hear this.
Like it was, I ranked it too high or too low.
Too high. Wait until
Well,
you hear
one
my
note I
ranking.
do have on here is thank God for the special edition.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, I thought the acting was actually okay. The story's slow. I think Bruce knowing the Palmers kind of just feels like it pops out of nowhere. That's kind of weird. The Hush fight is bad at the end. But this is actually more rewatchable than I thought it was going to be. I definitely don't think it goes above F, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I do think that like the special edition edits helped elevate that a little higher than it probably originally deserved. But yeah, that's my argument for it.
um. So I can see your points. You kind of convinced me to put it a little higher. I originally gave it a two. Because this one is just my well, this one and three are my least favorite.
Yeah.
Like we'll talk about three, but this one is just like yeah, like him randomly knowing the Palmers, like that was just confusing. The fight scene, there's literally one fight scene. It's at the very end, and it's over in 2 seconds. Like you're watching Batman, and you only get one fight scene, and it's horrible. And it's like you build up Hush this entire film, only for him to be like, "Come and get me," and then he gets punched, and it's over.
Yeah.
It's like, what was that build up for?
I will say
And
though, in retrospect, like surprisingly, Yakerson actually did a decent job at playing Old Man Palmer.
yeah, he did. I will say like yeah, we did good acting. It's just it's cringy. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like when I'm like, here's the money for your dead father, and he's like, oh, my Samantha, and I'm just like, this is so cringy. Like this is Batman. Like why are we watching this? This is supposed to be Batman. Like there was none of that crap in the first one. In the first one, it
Yeah.
was just like, let's get to business. Here's the Joker. Let's fight.
Yeah.
Like, and this one is just like so drawn out and just very cringy. Your special edition makes it so much better, but I'll change it to a three. I
Okay.
mean, I agree. I agree with you on a lot of those points. I can't give it anything else. Like, I don't like to.
Um, the next one we're gonna talk about is Indiana Jones and what was it? I just wrote Indy
This
one on here.
the
India no, and the Sacred Sun.
Yeah, the Sacred
Available
Son.
on Nuclear Films.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably available on that
Um,
one.
I gave this a 5 out of 10.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Um, so I will say there's a lot of like little things that definitely, and it helped having recently rewatched all the Indiana Jones before Dial of Destiny came out. There's a lot of little things in here that I thought you actually did like for an amateur filmmaker. I thought you definitely did a decent job at capturing the essence of Indiana Jones. A lot of little small things. Um, the directing wasn't great though, and a lot of sequence felt just like jumping and confusing. Like I would almost say that like I think so far this is actually like the first one I would say that was a directorial fail on your behalf.
Okay.
Um I did actually like the pacing wasn't that great and the camera work was shoddy. Obviously no effects. I really wish I'd kind of like pitched editing some special editions for you. Um but I will say actually though Nick and Yak actually felt a lot like Indiana Jones villains though. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like not like main villains, but sidekick villains.
If you want to do a special edition, you can. Like, you can
Maybe.
edit it if you want to. Um,
Maybe
that
after
actually,
Fedora Man 2. Maybe eventually I'll pitch that project for you.
um, that's actually really surprising. That actually makes me feel kind of good because I gave it a 3 out of 10. Um, I said bad production but watchable. Like, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of really fun moments. For example, one of my favorite things out of all our videos is that sequence where I pull the sun off and it cuts to the villains and they're like, "Do you have any threes?" And Lance is just there and like Lance actually like acts pretty well. Like
Yeah.
I move I remember when I shot that scene, I'm like, "Lance, look at the ball. Look at the ball." And I'm like and he's like it just looks so good. And then when I did a good job at making a setup and a payoff. Like, this is like a really good writing technique. At the beginning, I find like a random tennis ball, and for no reason, I just pick it up. Like, it was just like a character thing to do. Like, okay, I just pick things up when I see them. Like, I must think, anything could be useful at one point, and it comes in handy later. So it was
Hmm.
like a cause and effect kind of thing. Like, it was a setup and a payoff. I love that when Lance comes running around the corner, I throw the ball and I just use that as a way to get rid of him. And the villains are like, "Are you got to be kidding me?" And they come after me.
This is
Um,
one of those that I feel like if you made this about 2 years later, it would have been a lot better. And I
yeah,
would actually think that that would still be something worthy to be on your channel.
yeah. I think this one is a lot of fun to watch, but yeah, the production just kills it. Like, the scene where I whip the gun out of his hand and take it back and then shoot the other guy. I thought that was so good. And there were so many references, like how I get close to the screen, like you were
Mhm.
saying, like that's an Indiana Jones thing. Um, but besides all that, like you said, the production is just so bad, and I can't give it any higher. That's why I was so harsh on it, because it's just like this was
F
just
tier
so
then,
bad. Yeah, F tier.
unfortunately, but yeah.
Unfortunately for Indy one.
So our next one, actually, this is the first one that's not available anywhere. Um, this is behind the scenes. This is a video that I mean, I would have been there, but I had to go on a family trip to North Dakota, so I guess I got a courtesy credit in it. But this is actually something that you and Yak kind of worked on with a bunch of people at a library film camp. Um, I gave it a 1 out of 10.
That's actually interesting. You gave 1 out of 10. I actually gave it a 3 just because of like all the new production. Because you got to
Uh-huh.
remember, at this time we were so new. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that we used green screens and we tried it and we had all these people involved and you can tell in one of the shots like that we actually focused in on one character, and there was like depth of field. Like, you could actually see some blurriness behind that character. So I gave it like a 3 just for actually being better than all of her other stuff at that time. But everything else is awful. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
story is awful. The awful green screen where they're
Oh,
just
and
like
then don't
walking.
forget, like the guy literally grabs the tree and does the sneaky sneak thing.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god. So
But one
bad.
thing I did put though is like the concept is good, but the execution is atrocious. And like I know like we talked about a possible story treatment for making this a lot longer and a lot higher quality like a year or two ago. And like it spawned, in my opinion, a really good story treatment with a lot of potential. But yeah, it's just awful execution.
Yeah. Yeah. That was actually kind of hard to get through. So
Yeah.
yeah, that one's F tier for sure.
Oh, it does let me expand the columns. Okay. Awesome.
All right,
Because
now we know.
I'm not even gonna show S tier for this video. Um, so our next one then we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about the Fall of Momo, Temptation of the Dark Side.
Oh
This is the first
boy.
one in the Momo trilogy
Okay. Okay.
and the prequel Momo trilogy. But go ahead, take it away.
Um, you're probably gonna be surprised by this. I actually gave this a 4 out of 10. Um, that I think that's the highest ranking Momo film I've ever done. Like, um, I said that it was an interesting story, new locations, a lot of people involved, but horrible production. So like, obviously, all these old videos are gonna have horrible production, but I really enjoyed like the fact that there was two people fighting, or no, four people fighting at the same time. Like I thought that was really interesting. I love that you're in a new location. I love that you use um, what are the quads.
Yeah.
Um, I like that it's like a prequel. So like Momo has. I mean, granted, if you've never seen the Momo series, then it really wouldn't matter that much to me or to you. But I guess because I watched the Momos, it was interesting to see him like as a Jedi. So yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, the production, like the other ones, are just it's so bad. But yeah,
Yeah.
this one was worthy
I
of 4.
I gave it a 3 out of 10. I thought one of the strongest aspects of it though was the fight choreography. You could tell, like in release order, watching these, the fights are improving. We choreographed that, and I think compared to some of the earlier Momos and the Galaxy Wars, it looks so much better. Um, the acting still isn't great. I mean, you're working with kids, so it is what it expects. Audio had some weak points. I thought the story was kind of okay. But I think that's kind of interesting to hear from like an audience member, the aspect of like, yeah, I've been watching these Momo videos, so it was kind of cool to go back and watch, Momo as like a prequel as a Jedi. We just learned in the last one he's a Jedi. Now we're gonna see some of that and what led him to become
Yeah.
Darth Momo. Um, I will say one thing I like about this from a behind the scenes point is at this point I still didn't really know what Jedi Hunted was or what to do with it. And I kind of toyed with the idea of like our Momo videos are that is that in the same like universe as the Galaxy Wars? And this kind of helped really lock all that in place. I'm like, you know what? Let's make Grace's character the same character as the Jedi Hunted one. That was her lead Jedi Hunter, and now these are the other two that she has left now that the other one's dead.
So wait, Jedi Hunted is in the Darth Momo universe,
Yep. So Grace has the same character in Jedi Hunted as this one.
but it's not in the Galaxy War universe.
No, it is. It's all together. It's all connected.
Darth Momo is in the Galaxy War
Yep.
universe
So
too.
Darth Momo takes place before the Galaxy Wars. So
Okay.
this is a time when there's still a new Jedi Order, and then obviously Galaxy Wars is the Sith are back.
Okay.
um, yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 10 though, so I guess that one's gonna go in F tier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so um, the next one we're gonna talk about is The Fall of Momo 2, or I guess The Fall of Momo, The Fateful Encounter, currently available on Jaw Movies. It's the second Momo prequel. Go ahead, take it away.
The Fall of Momo 2. Okay. I gave this one a 3 out of 10. So just one less than the first one. Um, the I really liked the chase scene, even though it was insanely shot poorly. Um, but I just like that you guys fought on some bikes. Like that was kind of cool. Like that's something that no one's done before. So especially with the production so low. Well, actually, it's a free production. So, but I gave it a 3 out of 10 because I love that. The rest of the story was bland. I put like basically it was just I don't know. There was really not much to it. There was just some fighting going on, and then all of a sudden she turns him like that, and it's just like okay, all right. I don't know what to say with that.
Yeah,
So
that's true. The one thing I do like about that whole story though is I do like the idea of, and I use this a couple other times throughout. I think I use it once in My Lego Rebel Life, but I like the idea of like villains like lying to their like who they're trying to deceive to like get them in. So like she pretty much like makes it seem like her Jedi hunter like did the wrong thing or like screw it up or something, and she's like, "Get out of here, run away!" And she uses that to try to like lure him in, since obviously he hates that guy. So I like that aspect of it, but it could have been executed a lot better. I do like the chase scene. I agree, not in the sense of like how it turned out, but we've never done something like that before, and I don't know if we've actually ever. Maybe a couple times in like the Mission Impossibles, but I think beyond that, have we ever really done another chase scene?
I don't think not like that. That was
So
pretty cool.
I like the idea of it. See what else did I have on here? Yeah, I put overall, it's unengaged, but story execution is unengaging. Chasing cool. Fights I thought were worse than the first one.
Yeah.
Um, I think the only thing I like at the end was like when he's choking him and he like snaps his neck and you hear that visceral sound effect. That I like.
Yeah, this was just kind of like a like
Yeah.
I feel like that belongs in But what did you rank it?
I gave it a 3 out of 10. I liked
Oh,
it was pretty much I liked a couple little things, but overall, yeah, I actually would probably say yeah, worse than the first. Maybe not
so
just because it was shorter. I don't
we
know.
had the exact same opinion.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
F tier it is then. Um the next one we're going to take a little break from Momo for a while. And cuz we were all like we were creating these at like simultaneously, so now we're going to dip back over to what was going on in Arizona. We're going to talk about Batman 3 Rise of
Oh,
the Catwoman. Um, one thing I will say right off. Oh, this is currently available on Nuclear Films. Um, one thing I will say about this is right up front, I didn't hold the quality against it because I know that was just the result of like downloading a downloaded copy essentially. I downloaded a copy of a copy, so but the audio mix was bad. The
yeah,
audio mix was really bad. It was hard to hear a lot of it, so it's hard to really say anything.
yeah,
It felt too quick. It ended kind of abruptly, and I don't know. I don't really. Yeah, it almost felt like it was just like nothing in a sense. Like it
yeah.
was
It was,
quick. Um, the fight with Catwoman was quick, and it just like happens. I gave it
yeah.
a 3 out of 10.
Dang man, you're generous. You are a generous ranker. That's what I'm noticing from you. I gave this one a wait. I gave this one a 1. Like that was bad. That is the worst one by far. Um, as for like the actors, like they all did good, but the production is just so bad. The story, it's just got nothing to it. Like I fight Catwoman at the very end, and it's the same problem with Hush. Like we build up this whole thing, and then we just have that little tiny fight at the end, and that's it. And it's just like I don't know. I mean that also happened in Batman One, but at least in Batman One, like it had a build up, and then there was also another fight at the end.
I
Um,
want to say though, one thing I want to really give you props for because this is something that could have so easily been overlooked, even by a professional, I think. And you caught on to it is the radio. You focus on the radio right to announce the Catwoman thing, but you keep it going in the background as you and Hunter start talking. Which audio mix wise, kind of sucked. But the
Yeah.
continuity aspect of it, that was a really nice little detail that I really want to give you props for.
Well, thank you. I remember, I actually got my dad to do that. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad is in a video, which is funny. Yeah, I remember trying to do. I did the voice for the phone number, but it was just so bad. I just put it in there anyway. I don't know.
So
So
F tier then.
F tier,
Oh, this is also available on the WebShark too, I think.
great.
Um, the next one is actually only available on the WebShark. Captain Rotter, Renewed Warrior, the original version. Can't call it 2016 because they both came out in 2016, but this is the original version. I guess I'll go first since I had nothing to do with this one.
Okay.
I gave it a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
Um, the story's okay. Um, but the acting overall is bad. The no special effects kills it. Like you have a grenade explode, you don't see it, you hear it, and then Yak just does this tumble in midair, and it's like it looks so awful because this is like the first time that like the special lack of special effects really kill it. Like the
Yeah.
Batman's, you can kind of overlook it, I guess. I don't know, but like this one, it hurts it. Um, I want to say though, actually, yeah, production quality really low. The pacing is kind of bad, but one thing that I thought it actually did really good, and I might almost say it did better than the remake, is I think the music was actually really on point here.
Okay. Um. Now, I also had 2 out of 10. So we had the exact same ranking on that one. Um. I actually said the exact same thing. I said, I give it props for having an original story. Um, but literally the exact same thing as you said, just horrible production. I actually think the nurse scene in this one is so much better than the new one. Because in the
I'll
new
agree. I
one,
don't want to say a lot better, but I do think it's better.
yeah, I don't know why we decided to shoot in my room in the new one. It's just like it's so distracting. You just see all this like crap everywhere. But in this one, it's just like no, it's just like in this like it's in the guest room. There's still crap everywhere, but it's not as like crazy. Like
Yeah,
it's a little bit more believable.
it's something that you can give a pass to.
Yeah. But
And
yeah, I literally had the exact same opinion as you do. I think it's an F tier just
yeah.
because of how early in our filmmaking careers we were.
um our next one then we're going to talk about is Batman 3.5, the comedy.
uh,
Wait.
uh,
This
this
one
was so
is
bad.
it's not available anywhere actually. It was available on Nuclear Films for a while, but he took it down in 2020. So yeah,
Thank
this one's not
God.
available anywhere. Um gave it a 3 out of 10.
You gave that a 3? Why?
I think at this point I was just getting like numb and they were all like blurring together.
I gave that a 1.
I mean, it was something different too, and I don't know why. I guess the production was fine actually. It looked a lot better than Batman 3 did, I thought.
That's true.
Um, It kind of just exists. There's nothing special about it. But one thing I do really like, and I don't know why, but I really like the end when like you walk in and your mom's like, "Were you throwing or were you beating up on the kids?" And you're like, "Well, they were throwing oranges at me." I don't know why, but I really like that.
I really like when I'm like, you can't even. I'm like, go be a Boy Scout or something, and then I walk in and I'm like, Mom, I'm home, and then I walk in the back where you see Yagerson. He like just I don't know if he like shoots himself or what he does, but it was so funny. Um,
It did make me. I think the first time I visibly cringed though so far on this rewatch was when you're like, "This is a different kind of Batman. It's a comedy." Wink.
oh yeah, that was so bad. Yeah, I'm cringing just thinking about it. This this was so bad. Oh my god.
Do you have anything else you want to say about it, or?
No, F tier, F tier. Just throw it in there. Not worthy of anything.
So the next one we're gonna dip back into Momo. We're gonna talk about Fall of Momo, Fall of a Jedi, the last in the Momo trilogy or prequel trilogy. Take it
Okay.
away. Oh, this is available on Jaw Movies
I
and
gave
Darth
it a
Momo.
2. I gave it a 2.5.
Okay.
Um, I think the only thing I really liked about it was the ending. Like, I think most of it is just like you fighting your apprentice, and like that's the whole movie. And then at the very end, it just like nicely ties into the first one, and I like that. I think that was like the only thing I genuinely liked. But everything else, man, was just so bad. Like, um, the same issues as always, like the production and everything. But I had to give it a little bit more than just a two because I do like how you tied it into the Darth Momo.
So I actually gave it a 4 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
And that's actually the main reason why is see this one I actually used to like rewatching. And then now that I've rewatched it, it's been a few years, but now that I've rewatched it again, it's like, nah, it's still bad production, it's slow pacing. Um, I thought the acting was decent for Momo though, but I really truly love. I probably love it more than I should, but I really love the nice little bow it puts on it and winds it back up to the first one. Like we
Yeah.
got Yak in there, and then and he told me I didn't realize this at first, but he told me he's like, yeah, I even made sure I wore the same thing when he came over to film that day. I made sure to have like the jacket the same way, and I don't know. I just really love like, and the music I think really works for it too. I just love how it all builds into the first one again.
Yeah, and honestly, like you'll like this. So that was actually the last thing I watched all day. Like that was the last thing I watched. So you can imagine how tired and dead I was.
Yeah.
But I just loved that conclusion so much that I actually went ahead and like just continued it. I wanted to see it transition into Darth Momo 1, and then I kind of just like watched them all again. So
Oh.
you'll think that's funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll it's F tier obviously, but I'll give the conclusion.
I do think overall, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that overall, like looking at it through the lens of like these are Momo videos, would you say that the Momo trilogy did a good job at explaining Momo's fall to the dark side?
Because you just like start killing people, right? In the third one.
Right.
Not really. I mean, I would say kind of because like if you're a Star Wars fan, you would understand like, oh, once you start killing people, you're just kind of lost. But if you're not a Star Wars fan, it's just like, oh, it kind of comes out of nowhere. Um,
I agree with that. I
yeah,
think in theory it could have worked, but I would agree, like, yeah, overall, no.
yeah,
Because, like, I don't know, you end like the first one, and he's still like a Jedi, right? And then he's in one shot in the second one. And then in the third one, he's just like he's pissed, right? And
yeah,
he's just like it kind of just like I don't know, like you almost have to like read between the lines to make it work.
yeah,
So
for
F
sure.
tier then.
Yeah.
Our next one we're gonna talk about is Batman 4: Return of the Riddler. Theatrical version available on Nuclear Films, and the special edition is on Jaw Movies. Um, I guess I don't know. Do I take this one because we were all
Yeah,
part of
you would
that
take
one?
it.
But
Well, actually,
um,
I guess we're both involved, huh?
I'll
You
take
take
it
it.
since it was
Yeah,
yours.
yeah.
I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought it was. Oh wait, sorry. I was looking at my Momo ranking. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
A 6.5, dude. Okay, this is why you like the sequel trilogy. You like bad things.
For
A
the
six
record,
and a half.
Force Awakens is very meh, and The Rise of Skywalker is awful. But I
I don't want to talk
love
about
The
it. I don't want to.
Last
They're not even
Jedi.
canon. They're not even canon. I don't want to
They
talk
are
about them.
canon, just like
Uh,
Batman 4.
no, 6.5 is way too high. I'll let you talk, but go ahead. That's crazy.
I thought, okay, maybe we'll agree on this. Yakerson actually did a really good job at playing the Riddler.
No, that's true. That is true.
I thought the fights were still meh, but I thought production was a lot better than the last couple ones. Um, the audio's not amazing, but and Riddler escaping the garage, the way that like turned out was awful. But I think it's actually paced decently. I think the story's fine. It's a lot better than the first two, I would say, because there's actually like an end fight and it's got like some sort of story going on at play. Um, and I just thought it was a lot more rewatchable than I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
And I
I
think we all do pretty good performances, and I think that helps elevate it too.
I gave it a 3 out of 10. Um, I agree. Like, there's a lot of effort put in, but production was still really bad. What I was gonna say about the Batman's is it feels like, I know you don't watch horror movies, but anyone that's watched a lot of the slasher movies like Halloween, Scream, they all have like the same thing where like the first one comes out, it's iconic, it's classic, and then all those directors are like, okay, yeah, we're done with this. It was a one hit, it was a great thing. We don't want to make more, but the studio's like, no, we got to keep pumping this out. So this first one, Batman One, came out, iconic, and then me and Yakerson were like, no, we got to keep making this, and Nick's like, nah. So we just make these shitty ones, and it just keeps coming out like two, three, four, five. It's just like that's what the series feels like, and I mean, Yakerson did a really good job as the Riddler. I will say there was some fun fight scenes, but it was just so cringy, and I don't know. Maybe a four. I don't. It's definitely not C tier. I mean, I'll compromise with you and put it in D. I
I
don't
would
think
agree.
it's.
It's not C tier at all.
You can put it in D if you want. I think Ackerson deserves like the credit for the Riddler thing, but I don't know. I don't think any of the Batmans are like Batman One. I haven't watched six yet, but Batman One like genuinely deserves to be.
Yeah. I would
You
say
almost have it
though,
as high as Batman One.
I really like your slasher parallel or analogy, but I do think that out of except for removing one from the equation, I think so far four is come the closest to it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Are you gonna put it in F?
Oh shoot, I thought I put it in D. None of these were supposed to be in D, were they?
No, those are all F.
Okay. um. Oh, this one. Okay.
What is this?
This was I want to talk about this one. The
Oh
Power
God.
of Lord Palmer, a Galaxy War story, available on Jaw Movies.
Oh God.
Get away.
1.5. Um, that one was awful. I like, okay. You're probably gonna hate me,
No,
but
no.
I actually had to speed up a little bit. Like, it was so long. It was literally just fighting, 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 and I'm like, what is this? Is this just fighting? So I sped it up for like a few seconds, and I'm like, oh my god, this literally is just fighting. So I kept speeding it up, and it just didn't stop. Even on like double speed, it didn't stop. And I watched the whole thing in like super fast, speed, and it still wouldn't stop. And then I would, press play and let it resume. Same thing. It's like I didn't even skip anything. It was just like, oh my god, this is so bad. And like, I get what the characters were trying to do, like, um, but like I could get that just by from the speeding up. So like that was just bad. I'm sorry. Like it was a hard watch.
So initially, I wrote a 1 out of 10, and then I crossed it out and put a point 0.5.
I,
This, like, I'm not a man who likes to use the word hate, but if I was, I would hate this. So, like, this was literally we were playing out in the backyard with our lightsabers, and we kind of create our own little story. We're like, it's cool. We should film that, and we did it again, and we filmed it. But oh my goodness! First off, I do want to say I think the crawl in this one came out better than the Jedi Hunted crawl.
yeah,
At least the audio matched the narration or the words. Um, but the music is so tonally off. Like there's some points where you have like Across the Stars playing, and it's like what?
yeah,
Um, the fights were awful, and this is what I would call straight up character assassination because like I retroactively made this um Lord Palmer, right? And like the Lord Palmer you get in Galaxy War 3 is much more nuanced. He's very like more quiet and reserved, swift, powerful strokes. And then in this one, like I'm walking around growling and screaming. There's no
yeah,
subtlety to it, no nuance. Like if I could go back and delete one video, it would be this one. I like this felt like I took Darth Momo. Like that character felt more like Darth Momo than it did Lord Palmer.
yeah. The reason why I gave it a 1.5 is because I really liked that the bad guy wins. I thought that was kind of interesting, but that was it.
Yeah,
That
I
yeah
like the very basic premise that these Jedi are just, it's a time of peace, right? They're out on a training mission, and then this like shadowy dark side character basically comes out from the shadows, kills him, and disappears. Like I like that aspect of it, but it's like I'm holding him against the wall, and it's like the Lord Palmer we saw in Galaxy War 3 would have wiped the floor with these guys. Like you see Kyle Kemlin, like this Jedi prodigy, right, fighting Lord Palmer, and Lord Palmer wipes the floor with him. And then like here I'm like like I actually this is the first one that I legitimately hated.
put it in F tier. Put it in F
Yeah.
tier.
We're gonna put it in the bottom F tier.
There you go. I
Like
agree.
I would actually like if there was a column below F, I would put that one in there. I actually like I have my problems with Galaxy War 1, but that is bad.
Yeah, that one's so bad. I agree with you.
The next one we're gonna talk about is speaking of bad, Deathstroke, Legend of the Assassin. The this is actually only available in one place, the special edition on Jaw Movies.
All right, go ahead.
Um, I gave it a 2.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Um, I thought there was some decent aspects, like the character of Snapshot. I know that was very much just like an on the fly thing I created on set, and I think it actually like it's kind of fun to like rewatch the 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought Yak did pretty cool as Black Mask.
Okay.
Um, but the fights are bad, the audio's bad, production is bad. Tanasi sucks. He's Deathstroke and he's in flip flops. Like he walks
Yeah,
in
that
and he
was.
goes, "They call me the Terminator." It's like, bro, you wrote the script.
Wait, who wrote the script?
Tanasi. He wanted to make a Deathstroke video because he said he had a really cool costume. He pops in with a cool mask and sweats. And then it's like he's holding this like I mean I know we put like I added flashes on it in the special edition, but like he pops in with this green like gun, toy gun, and it's like he calls himself the Terminator, but he wanted to make a Deathstroke video.
Yeah, I'll I'll give him like the effort and the dedication for it, but yeah, the costume design was not good. Um, I gave it a wait. What would I give it? I gave it a 3. Um, I really like me as Nightwing. Um,
Oh
I
really?
like when
Because
I
I actually didn't.
oh really?
Yeah.
I just like when I flip the thing. Well, I guess I'm just biased because I love Nightwing. Like that's like one of my favorite characters. Remember that one year dressed up as Robin? Like
Yeah.
I love Robin and Nightwing. So I really like that because like it's like the only time that Nightwing has ever showed up in our films. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I will
I think
say
there's
your
a
costume was decent though. I like that. I just didn't like your portrayal, but I liked the costume.
yeah. I think everything else was decent. But like the story was fine. But yeah, it was pretty bad at the same time. Like I think 3 is perfect. 2 and 3 is fine. F tier.
Yep.
Uh,
Um our next video we're going to talk about is Why Clone Trooper Executed Order 66,
oh
available on
God.
Jaw Movies.
Oh, where the heck is that? I have so many on here. I have to like find it real quick. Oh, okay, I found it. Okay, yeah, this was awful. um,
Did you ever watch Hello Greedo's videos on the Star Wars changes?
yeah,
That I don't know if you caught but we pretty much just copied his whole intro for one of them.
no, I know. You also like mentioned Hello in the titles.
Oh yeah, and the
Um,
sub credits, yeah.
yeah. Um, the only thing I really liked was the flip off scene. I thought that was really funny. But yeah,
I was
that
like
was awful.
I was like 10 too when we did that. Just
Yeah,
like
that was
flipping
really
them.
funny. Story wise, like I get it, but it's just kind of bad. Everything else is really bad. It's just horrible production. You and Yak at the beginning, so bad. Like just cringy. Like yeah, no, 2 out of 10 for me. I didn't really like much anything about this one except for the flip off scene. I was dying when I saw that.
Yeah, I agree. I gave it 2 out of 10 too. The audio was kind of bad. I think overall it's a little just unclear what even the story is or what's going on. And it's like if you hadn't
Yeah,
seen the Hello Greedo video, you wouldn't know. Um,
exactly.
I did put on here funny when Kyle flips off the camera. The other thing too is I just hate that like it's basically channeling the George Lucas hate. And like I get it, like back then it was like, funny, like hate on George Lucas, but just in retrospect now, like everything I've learned about that man the last few years, like I just hate the fact that like though it was this stupid video that like only 5 people saw, I just hate the fact that I genuinely gave into that with a video.
Yeah, man, you're naive.
Yeah. Oh.
And
Um.
you are till this day. I'm just kidding.
No.
Um, but yeah, F tier.
Yeah. Um. The next one is 007 License to Kill. This is available on Nuclear Films.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Um. So I gave this one a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought it actually had some really good cinematography. Not all the way through, but there was some moments that's like I don't know why, but I really love both the shots of like the gun on the ground and Yak grabbing the gun, and then when he like lifts it up and holds it too. Um, but the jump cuts are a little choppy, noticeable. The quick, it's quick, and then the bullet thing, count your bullets, didn't come out as clear as it could have been.
Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah.
confusing, but I actually thought you did okay as James Bond. Um, it was one of those that it's like it's inoffensive if that makes sense.
Yeah. Is that all you wanted to say about it?
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Okay, that's actually crazy because I did the exact same ranking, six
Okay.
six out of 10. I agree with you. I was like I put this DVD in and I'm like, 007, here we go. This is gonna suck. And then I watched it and I'm like, wow, that was actually kind of good. Like, um, I think it starts out like really cool. Like you're right, the cinematography, like you don't even see James Bond yet, and the camera just makes sure to hide him, and I think that's really interesting. And you just see like the villain dealing with him, so it's almost like James Bond is like Jaws, and like the shark. You,
Yeah.
you don't see the shark, and that's what makes Jaws so scary. And I think that's what makes Bond so intimidating in this film. You're right, like the cinematography really helps. I think at the end, I love the end when I throw the gun at you, and you're just like, oh, and then I pull another gun out, and I'm like, boom, like I actually
Yeah.
do it like James Bond, like that was so good.
So,
Um,
because he mentioned CIA agent, so is Yak supposed to be Felix?
um, I don't remember. I mean, I don't I kill him. I wouldn't kill
Yeah.
Felix because yeah, Felix is my friend, so I don't
But he
I don't
says he's
know.
a rogue CIA agent, so that's why I was curious. I'm like, well, Felix is the only like named CIA agent in the movie, so
No, no, it wouldn't be Felix because Felix is Vaughn's friend, so I wouldn't write that. But like, I genuinely love like every fight scene, and there's like multiple. There's like three.
yeah,
There's like three. So yeah, I think this is a great one. Obviously, it's still really cringy and like bad production, but I give it I think it belongs in D tier for sure.
if it wasn't as choppy as it was, I almost would be willing to make a case for C tier.
Yeah. I think 007, and it's funny too because my channel used to be called Lance 007, and I think I did a pretty good video for 007.
Yeah, the only one too.
Yeah, we were gonna do a second one, but it never happened.
The next one we're gonna talk about is Batman 5: The Penguin's Plan, theatrical on Nuclear Films, and the special edition on Jaw Movies.
uh,
Um, This one I actually really remember liking just because it was like, I don't know, it was quick and it was kind of funny. Like when you threw the Star Wars sound effect in there for the gun, I thought that was kind of funny.
yeah.
I actually gave it a 6 out of 10. Um, I used to think that it was actually the second best Batman. Um, I don't know. I may be willing to change my opinion, and I don't know if I would like that more than four or not. But I thought actually the pacing's pretty good. Um, the audio is still hard, but I think Wilson and you guys have great chemistry in this one, and the scenes are kind of funny. Um, and I like the CIA scene at the end. That was something that actually I found footage for when you gave it to me to re-edit, and I actually because that wasn't in the original version, but I added that into the special edition, and I don't know, I really like that scene, even though it's quick. but it's like that's how the video starts with like teasing that, and then it ends, and it's very ominous too, and I really like that.
Wait, what scene are you talking about?
It's at the very end when the Yak shows up as a CIA agent to buy the prototype. He's in your house all of a sudden. You're like, what the? How'd you get in here? He's like, I'm CIA. I'm here for the product.
What was that like supposed to set up the next one?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I gave that one a 2.5. Yeah, man, I don't like the Batmans. Like, I like the first one, and I'm pretty sure I'll like the sixth one, but oh god, those were just bad. I mean, I my notes are same as four. Like honestly, like it really does just feel like four again. Like Chris is great as Riddler. Andrew is great as the Penguin. Catwoman returns and she's great too. They're all great. It's just so cringy and it's just so bad. And I mean, I can see where you're coming from. That's why I'll allow these to be on D because I see where you're coming from. Like there was effort put in. Um, like yeah, there was effort put in. That's all I can say. Um, we can put it in D if you want. I really don't. I think these are really bad films.
Actually, I
Um,
think I'm willing to put it in F. I think just like the more I think about it, I think I ultimately like. I think five, I love it more as a meme than I love it as a video, whereas four, I have more respect for as a video.
yeah, I can't see because like I look at the tier list and I see Batman one and then I just see Batman four below it and it's like I don't know about that. And then Batman five two below it, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I like it more as a meme and just that it's easy to rewatch, but I agree, like I think four overall is better than five. We could do
I'll
F
agree
tier.
with you on that one.
Um the next one we're gonna talk about is the name's Link from currently available on Digital Reality. I'll let you start since I was in that one.
Okay, so this one is gonna be fun because to me, and I don't know if you agree with this, but to me, this is gonna be the first one. Well, actually, hold on. We mentioned not to say that, so I won't do that yet. But I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think this one is really funny. I think it's a good play on the lore. Like you don't play Zelda. I actually haven't really played much of Zelda either, but I'm a video game fan, so it's just very clever. Like he's playing on all the memes of Zelda,
Yeah,
and it's shot well. It's funny. There's a lot of people involved. Their writing is good. It's not cringy. Like that's another thing that's crazy. It's like it's not cringy. Like I genuinely really like this one. Your acting is good. Um, so yeah, to me, I'll say it now. Now that I got the ranking out. To me, 8 out of 10. I feel like that deserves a B tier, but I'm willing to compromise if you don't agree. But if it was, that would be the first B tier.
I'm gonna say you're making a persuasive argument. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I thought the shot continuity was a little off, and the audio was a little quiet at times. But I agreed. I like the camera work. I like the premise. I know it enough to know that like, oh yeah, he's just always called Zelda. So I like that premise. Um, it's tough.
No, I mean it's totally fair. I mean, I know B is like high, and we're talking about like our videos. Our videos are always bad, so like B is kind of high, but at the same time, like I just feel like you know,
I
out
think,
of
I mean, at the same time too, we're talking about our videos, right? We're looking at it like our videos. We're not like we're not ranking Fast and Furious on here. We're ranking our videos. I think I'm gonna keep my personal opinion at. I think I'll go 7.5 personally, but I think I'm
okay,
willing to put that in B. I think this one I can understand the argument for it. I think I'm willing to
I
compromise on that.
yeah, I mean I appreciate that because I feel like he deserves the credit. I honestly like he didn't make as many videos as us, but when he did make a video, it was really good.
Yeah,
Like, and I wish that we worked together more because Nick was just really good at what he did, and all these Batmans, all these missions, indies, they could have been so much better if we had Nick involved. And
I
so,
agree. I think Nick definitely had the like the production aspect of it. As for all that encompasses editing and shooting and all that, I think he does really good at. And it's personally, I'm sad to see that he hasn't really like carried on a whole lot with it because I think he actually
Yeah.
has a lot of potential.
I think he does too, and I was actually just gonna say that. I don't know if Nick ever watches this, but if he does, I hope you continue your journey on filmmaking because I think you are really good at it.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if he's gonna do it now, but if he sees this, I think you should because I think you have a lot of
I
talent.
agree. I agree. Um, I don't know. It's interesting. Like to me, him and Yackerson were always like the two sides of the coin. Like I thought Yackerson was really good at like ideas,
Yeah.
and Johnson was really good at like not that he had bad ideas, of course, but I think that like he was stronger with his production than he was with his ideas. So like we'll talk about Object Unknown in a minute, but I thought that that was like that could have like that combination, not necessarily the final product, but that combination had a lot of potential.
Oh yeah, like you got Yakerson with the ideas and Nick with the production. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Um. So the next one we're going to talk about is the first one that actually came from the WebShark, and subsequently it's only available on the WebShark. Turn around, look at what you see.
Okay, that's cringe.
Um, I guess I'll take it since you were in that one. I
Yeah.
gave it a 7 out of 10.
I don't even know where mine is. Hold on. Let me a 7. Dang. Okay.
So, excuse me. I actually thought this was genuinely funny, a genuinely funny premise and execution. I really liked the idea, and the execution was decent. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either.
Okay.
Like I don't know, I just like as a funny little sketch, like I think it works. Like it's simple. It's just like this hooligan running around. He's like, freeze, turn around, and then you're like, oh yeah. And you start singing, and he's like, "No, turn around!" And then he shoots you, and then I don't know. I just and then like he looks up, and he's got like grass in his face, and
Yeah. No, it's definitely funny. I gave it a 4 just because yeah, it's so cringy. Like I think that's what kills it for me. It's just like I think you're right. The premise is so funny and the the editing and the jokes. It's funny, but it's also just so cringy. And I think it's just because maybe I'm watching myself singing. Um so I'd be willing to compromise. I don't know about
we could put
C.
it. We could compromise it, D.
Okay, because I feel like that's definitely a D. I think C is kind of high. I'm not gonna lie. All right,
Isn't it funny that Nick has the highest one so far?
that is kind of funny.
um, the next one we're gonna talk about is Mission Impossible, the first one,
Oh.
currently available on Nuclear Films.
Okay, go
This was
ahead.
your video. I'll take it. 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
It definitely
Man,
felt like a step up to some of the Batmans, but at the same time, like Mission Not Impossible.
yeah,
The acting is bad. Bikes, really?
yeah,
Like they just that doesn't work, especially since in all the other ones we use cars. You have cars in this one, like the bikes just don't work. Um, I like the jumping in the car scene. I don't know why, but I really like that one, and I would rank that scene alone higher.
yeah,
Um, Audio in the camera is pretty bad at times. I hated that you used stock footage from Mission Impossible in like the opening sequence. I
yeah,
hate that. And to me, and I remember feeling this way when I first watched it, and I remember I really disappointed you when I told you this. But this was like the first time you got to edit with Final Cut Pro, and to me, it looked like you were just having fun playing around with Final Cut Pro's credit scenes and intro sequences.
No, you're completely right about all those things you just said. I remember back in the day, I was kind of upset. I was like, oh my god, like you didn't like any of that, and it was because like I was so excited for all this new technology. But watching it now, it's like you were right. Like it starts out with just Lance 007 and then
And it
nuclear
drags
films.
on, yeah.
And then after that, it's like, oh, here's his opening, and then oh, Lance 007, nuclear films again. and then it's just like there's so much transitions, and it's just like, okay, stop. So I agree with you nowadays. Like that was bad. Also, I hate that camera angle. I don't know what I was thinking, but I shot like this like random side shot with the bikes coming in. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
If you go back and watch it, there's like a shot where it's like at an angle and it's so bad. It's like, what was I doing? And then when they switched guns, that made no sense. Like, what was the point of switching guns?
Yeah.
Like on the bikes. Um, and then yeah, the
It's
only
one
thing I
of those
like,
things that like it looks cool, but when you think about it, it's like, what?
yeah, no,
So
it
I'm
was.
willing to give that one some sort of a pass.
I gave it a 3 out of 10. I gave it a three just for effort, but terrible production quality. Well, not terrible. I think it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't
Yeah.
good. And the ending, oh my god, the ending with that awful audio, like with the wind, so bad.
And I don't know
But yeah,
why, like, I love Yackerson and like his acting in the Batman videos. I don't know why, but it's like every performance he does, even when he's just that little grunt that goes, like every performance he gives in the Batmans is really good, I think. And then I hate his acting in Mission Impossible. Like
really,
him as Benji, I think is just cringe. Especially
really,
in this one, he's like, "See, Ethan, that wasn't so impossible."
yeah.
Like him as Ethan is bad, or as Benji is bad.
I don't necessarily think it's bad, but I see where you're coming from.
So
Um,
this one goes in F tier. Then I'm sorry, I don't even remember what you ranked it.
I gave it a 3. What did you give it?
Okay, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, F tier. That's dog shit.
So I wonder if I can like. There we go. Just to keep that in line. Um, the next one then we're gonna talk about is right back to back. We're gonna go Mission Impossible 2, currently available on Nuclear Films. Um, I gave this one a 6 out of 10.
You were so generous. I did not expect this from you. All right, go
So
ahead. Tell me.
I thought the opening. Maybe it's just because I'm much more of a positive person. I prefer to look for the good in things. You know, like all our videos are good. That's a reference to my YouTube video I made called "All Star Wars is Good," by the way.
Well, that video's not canon.
Oh, um, I think it was. I know we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, but I thought the opening was pretty good actually.
Yeah. Is that all you have to say about it? Because
I thought the plot's a little confusing. The ending's abrupt. Villain's stupid. Not Zach Hunter. Hunter's stupid in this as a villain. Um, your yak your I put yak and Cole Benji Ethan scene is stupid when you're like Benji Ethan,
oh,
and then like you literally you're like he just killed billions of people and then or hundreds of people and then you come in you're like Gee! And then you go right back to he killed 100 of people. Yeah. And the audio and volume is really inconsistent, but I overall think this was an improvement upon the first one. And yeah, I thought it was worthy of a 6 out of 10.
I disagree. I think it's worse than the first one. I gave it a 2 out of 10. Um, the opening is iconic. I love that opening. I actually think the opening is like one of the best things I've made on my channel. Um, I would rank that opening like an 8 out of 10 if I could,
Yeah, I
because
would
that
too.
that opening is just like there's like barely any dialogue, and it just sets the mood, and it's edited so well. But everything else is just so bad. Like I like that fight scene with me and Zach, but that's pretty much it. Like
I'm
um,
willing to compromise with you on this one and put it in F.
yeah, like I mean we can put it in D if you want, but I don't think it's good at all.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been an absolute. Honestly, the only thing that put it in D for me was the opening sequence. Because I
Yeah,
do,
I
yeah,
think
that opening sequence is pretty strong.
I think it's so good, but the rest of it it's just so. I think that's why I dislike it so much too, is because you come off of that strong opening and then it just falls apart like instantly. So
So the next one we're going to talk about is Object of the Unknown. This one is available on Nuclear Films, Digital Reality. I think Hunter has it too, and actually, I think he has the last two Mission Impossibles. Um, and Jaw Movies.
okay,
So You weren't a part of this one, so go ahead, take it away.
Um, I gave it a 3.5 out of 10. Um, I thought I thought there was a lot of good moments. The story's original, but I think the problem with this one is that it gets shadowed by a lot of the bad moments. Like, I hate when because I know that Nick edited this, and no offense to Nick, but I do not like that music at the end, like that like I don't think it's rap music, but it's just like pop music. Like
Uh-huh.
I it takes me out of it, and I just don't like that. And then like when there's an edit of his face, like it goes up on his
Yeah,
face,
I
and then
know
he's
what you mean.
like he he edited it in a way where it was like two different directors. You had Yak that was taking it seriously, and you had Nick that was just kind of like memeing with it,
Yeah.
and it just like clashes together and makes this mess. Um, there's moments that I like. The acting's pretty good. I mean, I could see it being higher than the 3.5. I just gave it that because it's really just kind of a disappointment for me. Like I feel like it had so much more potential, and I think that's why they made a new one.
Yeah.
Yak made a new one because it really had a lot more potential, and it just kind of got. It just was weird. I don't even know how to put it.
This you actually literally hit on like all the same notes I was going to. This was hard because this was one of my funnest like film shoots that I personally enjoyed, like fun experiences. And I really loved the video, but I gave it a 6.8 out of 10. Um,
Jeez.
I would I wanted to go higher actually. I really love the story, but it's just it fell hard in the execution. I love Nick. I love Nick's work. You know, as we just talked about in like the name's Link and a couple others we'll talk about later, you know, the campers, but I don't know, like you hit it on the nose. Like he was just memeing around with this, and it really detracts from the tone. And this is
Yeah,
like the one where I wish he didn't do that because this had, like you said, it had such a strong potential. And I'm actually really glad Yak did remake it because I think out of all his videos he's done, this is his strongest story wise. And
yeah,
I'm really glad that he actually remade it. And yeah, it's just the bad editing. The chase scene was not a chase scene. Golf cart, really.
yeah.
Um,
And I
like,
also
go
oh
ahead.
go ahead. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say I also really don't like how the CIA just shows up out of nowhere at the end. Like, where did they come from? Like, how did they
Yeah.
even know where this house is? Like, yeah, it was. But go ahead. I cut you off.
Well, and I will say one thing though too. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but that shot where the CIA is in the car. It's in Hunter's car, and they
Yeah.
pull up, and like the way that the camera was angled, the sun like glares off the bumper grill. I love that shot. That might be one of my favorite shots in all of our videos. It just that shot alone looks extremely cinematic, in my opinion.
So you gave it a. You almost gave it a C, which is crazy. Do you
I
want
wanted
to?
to, but I knew I couldn't.
You want this in D?
If you're willing to compromise, I think it deserves D, but unfortunately, I don't think it deserves anything higher.
No, I agree with you. I might be a little too harsh, honestly. I don't know why I went so low, but I can see where you're going. I think there was a lot of love and attention put into it. I think it just got completely ruined for me at the second half. That's why I ranked it so low. But I think there's a lot of good acting, a lot of good story, production. So yeah, I think D is perfectly fine.
I am excited to visit the remake, though. I haven't seen that since it first came out, so that I actually am excited to revisit.
Wait, where did you put it? I think you put it in F.
Oh, I did. Whoops. um, we're almost done. We're almost done.
Yeah.
So the next one we're going to talk about is How to Train Like Rocky. Currently not available anywhere. Um, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Really?
I'm willing to
Oh,
go a little lower if you wanted to go a little lower. It's not amazing, but it's not offensive. A couple bad like editing moments, but overall, like it just exists.
honestly, I would change it to a 7 because I kind of feel
Okay.
honored that you said that. I gave it a 6, just because I think it's you know I also agree it kind of exists. It's funny and it has its moments, but I think a 6. I gave it a 6, but I think a 7 is perfectly fine. I think that's nice of you, actually. But yeah,
Yeah, short, sweet, to the point.
exactly. Yeah.
So the next one we have, then we'll probably lightning through the next couple of them is Momo or the new adventures of Darth Momo number 7.
Okay.
This is on John Movies and Darth Momo.
Okay. This one I put extremely short. I put 2 out of 10. I honestly don't really remember anything about 7. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was just so short that I don't really know what to say. Um, I gave it a 2 out of 10. Can you kind of refresh me what happens in the seventh one?
I show up, I find the bounty hunter, and then I kill him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was so short, kind of bland, pointless. I gave it a 2 out of 10.
Initially, I wrote a 6 out of 10. I think I'm
Jeez.
willing to go down to a 5 out of 10 though. Nothing great, but not inoffensive. Short and sweet.
If you want to put it in D, I'm totally fine with that. I mean, it's up to you.
We'll put it in D then.
I,
Um,
I
the next one is The Adventures of Darth Momo number 8 on Darth Momo and John Movies.
another flashback. Okay. Um, okay. This one I really didn't like.
Yeah.
Like this one. Okay, I put another flashback question mark, and then I put also the same story happened in 4, so 8 seems pointless. That's what I put. Like you literally did the exact same story in a flashback. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
And it's
Um,
basically. Oh, sorry. Were you done or go ahead?
no, go ahead. I was just gonna say I didn't even rank it. I don't even. Oh, I put a 1.5.
Um, I gave it initially a 4.5, and then I changed it to 4. The editing's choppy with the jump cuts. Fight is pretty bad. It's rewatchable, but pointless. I put that too. And it basically was we had that footage that we shot a year ago, and I had no idea if we were gonna use it. We probably weren't. So I'm like, you know what? I'll repurpose it as a vision sequence, and like to try and draw more intensity to the Rel fight because Rel was like the first one that like really beat him, and that's what set him on this revenge trail. So it's like he's having a fight again or a vision of his fight, and he loses to Rel again. And I actually play off a couple of the lines in it in the next one, which I had fun doing that. But yeah, we could put that in F tier for sure.
Yeah.
Um, the next one is The Adventures of Darth Momo, number 9. Um, on Darth Momo and John Movies. Take it away.
2.5 out of 10. Um, I said ending was funny, but jokes were terrible. And again, it's just another fight with Nick. Like it's just like you wanted to like make multiple sequels for no reason, so you just did the same story over and over again. It's like you fight Nick like so many different times, and it's just like what makes this different from any other ones? This one is just cringy. Like he's like, oh, is my gun over here or is it over? Like, oh, that's so bad. I'm sorry. Um, and then um, the ending was funny. I don't really remember how the ending happened, but oh, the Darth Vader kind of shows out of nowhere.
The the Davaku.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny how he just like shows up. But yeah, that one was 2.5 for me.
I actually gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I don't know why, but in 4, the comedy didn't land this time around for me, but I thought the comedy was, some of it was kind of funny. The line where I go, what the heck is that? Like, I don't know why, but that just genuinely got a solid good laugh out of me.
Yeah, not for me. Like that joke has been used in like pop culture since the end of time. And also like when Nick starts running like an idiot, it was so cringy. I was
Yeah.
like, please stop. Yeah, we can put it in D if you want, but
This is
I'll co-
actually, I think, one of my favorite momos.
all right, go ahead. You can put it in D.
The next one then we're gonna talk about real quick is The Adventures of Darth Momo number 10. Available on Darth Momo and John Movies. Take it away.
Oh. So this one same thing, just like another 2 out of 10. Um I'm just really mad that the villain left. It's almost like, oh, we got to make more sequels, so the villain's just gonna leave. I'm like, what? Like you're in the middle of this fight and the villain just leaves. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I also put it's just not much to say. They all kind of feel the same at this point.
Yeah,
Like
they do.
especially that one. Like it's just another fight and then he just leaves. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I put a 2 out of 10, but you
I
probably
actually
put higher.
put a 6 out of 10. I thought the fight was decent. I thought the dialogue was actually pretty decent. Um, and I thought it actually, like, unlike some of the other ones, this one actually like served the story and furthered the story. And I thought it was a lot more rewatchable than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why, but I like Kun. Like, he's a different type of villain, which in a series like you said where they're all the same thing, it felt a little refreshing.
Okay. I'll compromise with D.
Okay, D tier it is.
All right, what
Okay,
is this?
okay. So the next one we're going to talk about is the adventures of, or the continued adventures of Darth Momo, number 11, Sight Without Eyes. Available on Darth Momo and Jaw Movies. Take it
Um,
away.
Jesus, let me try to find this. I don't even know where is this. Oh God. Oh, here we go. Okay. Um, 3 out of 10. Uh, bad production, but finally a more interesting story. I put no conflict, which is kind of good, but also kind of bad at the same time because there's just like no conflict. Um, I like the gray idea, but at the same time, like that was already taken by Star Wars itself, so it's not like you're doing anything different. But I did give it a 3 out of 10 for finally being different, not just like a stupid lightsaber fight. You know what I mean?
I
Sure.
I gave it a 4 out of 10. I thought it was boring. I thought the acting was bad. And I hate that it's basically a Rebels ripoff. We made this shortly after the beginning of Rebels season 3 when Kanan goes to learn from the Bendu.
Yeah, I know.
So
I figured. I'm like, this has already been done before.
um so yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 10. This is one of my
Yeah,
I think one of the lesser momos.
yeah. That's definitely an F tier.
um the next one we're gonna talk about is silent film from
Silent film.
from Coolio Kid Films. Um, this is currently available on Coolio Kid Films.
All
Take
right.
it away on this one.
So I actually gave it a 6 out of 10. Um, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? Like, it's short and sweet, and I can understand it visually. Like, there's no dialogue at all, and I can understand what's happening. Um, and I like that they did it in front of a green screen, and like it's not like bad green screen. Like, it's obviously a green screen, but it's like it's just like new technology for the time.
Hmm.
So I gave it a 6, but I did not like the ending at all. I thought it was so stupid how like they built. I thought she was gonna make something nice, and then they were gonna finally be like, "Oh, it's nice," but no, it's just it's always bad. Like the coffee is just always bad. I thought that was really dumb, but I give credit where credit's due. Yeah, 6 out of 10.
I gave it a 4 out of 10. I said at first glance it looks fine, but the closer you look, the worse it gets.
Okay.
But I think I'm willing to compromise on D tier because if we're gonna put Momo 7, 9, and 10 in D tier, I
Yeah.
think it's fair that this goes in D tier. And I didn't even think about the whole aspect of like it's a silent film, so like can you understand what was going on? And I could. Um,
Yeah.
so I think D is fair for this one.
Yeah.
The next one we're gonna talk about is Waldo from Coolio Kid Films, currently available on Coolio Kid Films. I gave it a 1.5 out of 10.
I don't even know why we're ranking this. I don't even think this is a film. This is I told you it was a project.
To me, this felt like a film, except for the fact that he put in there like POV, depth.
That's crazy. You gave it a 1.5?
Yeah, it was awfully produced, awfully edited. He left his subtitles in there. He should have taken those out. Like I've. How many of you guys took video production, and I've never seen it in any of your guys' videos?
Well, because I try to tell you it's a project. It's not a short film. I was trying to tell you that. Like, I don't know why we're ranking it, but
If we're gonna rank Attack on Blank Page Loans, I think this one. I mean, it's cohesive enough to be a video.
All right. I mean, I gave it a 4 out of 10 just because. I mean, um, it's funny and it's short and sweet, and um, yeah, that's all I gave it. I don't really have anything else to say. I think it's kind of funny how it's just like, will they survive? But
All
yeah,
right, F tier it is then.
F tier.
And now, at last, we get to Captain Rodder, Renewed Warrior, the remake.
You want me to go? Wait, you're going first, right?
I'll go first since, yeah, I guess I had nothing to do with this one. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Um, oh, this one's available on Nuclear Films. Just because it would have been available on TheWebShark, but that was copyrighted. So, in
Oh my
some ways, I think it's worse than the original.
god. Yeah.
The audio's still bad. The camera work's still kind of shoddy at times. The actors are literally reading the script in the final take, like in the hospital bed. You can see the
Yeah.
doctor staring at the script. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I think I agree. Like in retrospect, like I think the actor was better for the doctor, but otherwise I think the scene from the last one was better.
Yeah.
And I said I like the story, and I like one or two small sequences, but some of the locations are bad for the video.
Yeah. Like my room as a hospital was just so bad.
Or
Like,
is like his backyard shed as like the terrorist could be hiding there.
well, I also just don't understand that shot because it's like you go in there and I guess that makes sense, but I never understood that shot when we first recorded it because you can see the shed from the other side. So it's like, how did you not know anyone was in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can see the shed in a different shot.
And it's
So
like he's in there for a while too. It takes him like it's a small shed, and he looks around the entire 5 foot shed to go, oh, no one here. Well,
yeah,
duh.
yeah, yeah. I gave it a 4 just because like I'll give him props for remaking an older film and trying it again. I think that's worthy of like some credit. Um, what else did I put? Um, but yeah, bad production. There's some things that he did better in the first one that I wish he carried over to this one, and there's some things he did better in this one. Um, but overall, like I think it's the first one. I don't think it's that great. I think some of the other ones, from my memory, are better. But
This
I don't
one
know.
I think it's notable too because like this is really the start of like Yackerson's. I would say one of his worst trends is that he uses like the same 10 soundtracks over and
I
over again, and he
know.
does to
I
this
know.
day. And it's like it just reminded me of that. Maybe that's why I like the music in the original too, is because the music was. Granted, I think that was you who did the music, but it was different.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
like this one, it's the same music.
Yeah. So
So
F tier,
F
unfortunately.
tier, yeah. I remember him saying like he was really proud of his Captain Rodder trilogy, and so far, I don't understand why. I mean, I guess I do, but I don't agree.
Dang. Yeah.
um, all I can say is like, if you really want to know our true thoughts on the Captain Rodder video, check out everything wrong with Captain Rodder Renewed Warrior in 6 minutes or so, something like that, on the Darth Momo YouTube channel. Um, the next video is the fight at school, currently on Nuclear
Oh.
Films.
What did you do?
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
A 7? Dude, you don't deserve to watch Bad Batch.
Ugh. Well, guess what I'm gonna go do after this?
Watch Bad Batch?
Yeah,
a, se- a 7? That's crazy. I gave
I
that.
don't know. I thought there was a couple small like easy to fix mistakes that were made. Otherwise, like I really like the idea. I really like the execution, and I also like the aspect too that it was pretty much like, hey, we need to make something. We want to make something, and Robin had been sitting on that idea for a little while, and he's like, let's go make it. They went down to the cafeteria, got the guys gathered, shot it, and edited it.
Okay,
I
now
think
that you
it's really
mentioned
rewatchable.
what?
I said I think it's really rewatchable too.
Oh, yeah, you and I have very different opinions about that one. Um, all I I was a little too harsh on this one. I gave it a 1. Yeah, a 1. I really did not like it. The audio is just so bad. It's so short, which I guess is the point, but um, the production quality is just so bad. I only gave it a point for the story, which I think is really funny, but it's just like, okay, like it happens and then that's it. It's just like I wish they kind of did more with it. Like it's not really a film per se. It doesn't really have a beginning, middle, and end. It just kind of, oh, it was just a joke, like their
Yeah,
finger
it's a little
guns.
comedy sketch. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think that 1 out of 10 is a little harsh. I don't know why I put 1 out of 10. Um, would you agree with D tier?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, that one I'm actually kind of surprised I put 1 out of 10. Like that's kind of ridiculous, but a C tier, no, no.
All right, two left, two left. The next one we're going to talk about is Jaywalkers, currently available on Digital Reality and Nuclear Films.
Okay.
I gave this one a 7 out of 10.
That's funny because so did I.
I thought it was a little choppy at times, but overall, it was good.
Yeah, I think this one is hilarious. I agree with you. The production can be kind of bad sometimes, but the story is unique. It's
Yeah.
funny.
This is the
And
most
again,
emotion we've ever seen out of Hunter.
yeah, that's
Ah!
true. But like, I genuinely laugh every time I watch this one. It's just again like Nick knows how to edit something, and when we put us together with him, like we get good videos. Like
Yeah.
I think this one is definitely a C tier. Um, yeah, short and sweet, funny, good editing.
Ah! Okay. Oh, whoops, I grabbed both of them. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Oh no, what did you do? Great.
It's somewhere.
Where's the last one? Wait, where's Jaywalkers?
That's what I'm trying to find. There we
Oh
go.
my god. You can't take that out now. Great.
I should be able to. Huh.
What even is that anyway?
So, well, the next, I just want to make sure this is how we had it, right? These were our C tiers.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. So, the next one we're going to talk about, which I don't think it belongs there, but um, is our final one we're going to talk about. Batman Origins, currently available on, well, the special editions on Jaw Movies.
Special editions.
Um,
Um,
I guess I'll take it since it was yours. I
yeah, go
gave it a
ahead.
6 out of 10.
You did a what?
A 6 out of 10.
God, every time I just cough when I hear your reviews.
6 out of
Um,
10.
why did you give it a 6?
I think the camera quality and the audio is bad, obviously. That camera Elena
Yeah.
gave you. Otherwise, I think it's really good. It's fun. It's rewatchable. It's good pacing. I think it's just a fun premise, and it's a different premise for Batman, and it's
um,
unique.
okay. I mean, I agree with you on that. But I gave it a 3 because I think it's funny and iconic, but horrible production. Um, and it's like funny, but sometimes it's like stupid funny. Like it's not. It
Yeah.
doesn't even fit in the universe. Like it's like its own canon because there's no way that's the same Bruce Wayne. Like it's stupid.
Well, I always
Um,
thought it was canon.
I don't think it is canon.
We should
And
make a
I'm
video debating whether it should be canon or not. Like we should put forth our arguments.
okay. Fine, we'll do that one day. Um, but yeah, I put a 3. But I mean, honestly, I do agree with you. Some of the comedy is pretty hilarious and unique, and the premise is kind of funny. So I would put it in D tier.
It's got Lance and Katie in it.
It's like the only film with Katie.
Yeah, it is actually.
That's another reason why I put it in F tier because it had Katie. Oh,
All right, well that's our ranking. Obviously a lot more variety this time around. That was nice.
yeah,
And obviously a little lengthier. We're sorry about that.
yeah,
I hope 2017 won't be as long. We have I think 37 videos.
yeah.
This was 43.
We should probably be a little bit quicker on 2017, but yeah, this one was just like overwhelming me a lot.
And the nice thing about 2017 too is that'll be a lot more variety. So this one, like over half the videos, well, no, about half the videos were Momos and Batmans. 2017 has 3 Momos and no Batmans.
Thank God.
So that'll be a nice different variety. There's a lot more variety in just the videos we created. You start getting a lot more original. Um, Yak, I guess Yak's got his Roderverse, but even then, like you could say they're all kind of unique since there's different installments in the Roderverse. So I'm
Yeah,
excited for 2017.
I am too. I think that's gonna be fun. I'm glad we got through 2016 though, because that was way too much,
Yeah.
and a lot of them were bad. Like, look at that F tier. I'm
Yeah.
actually, it is kind of crazy that we had some C tiers and one B tier, and we had a lot of D's. So
If I
that's kind
had
of
to
cool.
guess, next time around, I think the D tier right now, that's how our F tier is going to look. And I think this is how our D tier is going to look.
Okay, okay.
I could be wrong. Who knows? But that's my theory. I think we're going to have less F tiers and more D tiers.
I do think we might have at least a few C's and B's, but we'll see.
There's one I already could think of that I would like to put in S, but we'll get there when we get
That's
there.
crazy. S tier. Okay, this is gonna be fun.
But thank you guys for joining in. For those who are still around, this has been fun to do. It's a fun blast of a time to do it, and we thank you guys for partaking of this fun history. I like how you changed your name to Double O Studio on there.
Yeah, I did that because the last time it just says my name. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, Flibberden off Clib.
What? All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one in 2017.